And this place is like on a hill. So delivery truck, there's no loading dock. So the delivery truck hill and very heavy vanities that need to come out. Okay. And so my dad like gives me a dolly. He's like, just use this. Just you might need this dolly today. I'm like, okay. So I
thanks, Dad.
Thanks. I have dolly.
Love you, Dad.
A dolly with like uninflated.
Wait, was he expecting you to just like strap this vanity, a 60-inch vanity, to a dolly and just wheel that shit inside by yourself?
He was like, get some help. And I was like, okay, I will. But I hate asking for help. So anyway, so like
sitting on the curb in her skirt, just like refreshing on her laptop. And she's got two vanities sitting on either side of her. Well, I'm picturing that. I can see all of this.
One was like in the gate and then there was one here. So then I like call my sister an Uber and I was like, hey, I need help getting this one.
Finally.
My sister who's like all of 100 pounds.
So you call her.
I call her and I was like, I just
forced her into an Uber to get her downtown to help you wherever you were.
We were close to our house. So yeah, it was fine.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Behind the Lockbox. I'm Stephanie Zalewski here with
Cameron Barbier.
And today, let me hide my phone because that's not supposed to be here. We have Tiffany Hoffman with us. Hey, girl. Hey.
Hello.
Hello. Tiffany is an agent with EXP. She's been in the business for just about 9 years. And we met Tiffany at our mastermind group. And per your Instagram, it says, let's be besties. And that's exactly how we felt when we met her. She's hilarious, down to earth, and I know she has stories for us because we were just riffing right before this recorded. Actually, we were recording, so those are going to be some bloopers for us. Tiffany, welcome to Behind the Lockbox.
Welcome. Thank you.
Also, I wore this sweatshirt for you.
I love it. I think all the merch.
It's the only merch I have from Bravo. And
I don't have any merch.
Anyone on YouTube, you can see what it says. Bryn Whitfield, I love you so much. And
I was watching reruns. I was watching old Roni episodes, and they're so funny.
OG,
like when they were in Mexico.
Dude, they're crazy. But do you love the reboot?
It's okay.
What?
It's okay.
Okay, but I think we're really gonna like them this season.
It's not that I don't like them. I think
I love Bryn. She's my fave.
I think we need to have a rule for new casts. I think number one, you need to own your house, or the minimum value.
Although it is New York,
I don't care. The old women all owned their places.
Yeah,
all of them. Yeah. Or they had a house in the Hamptons. Like they were a little bit older at the time, but I'm gonna need to see what like I can't see driving in La Jolla or talking to clients. Like I need to see that's like ridiculous.
Fair. And for anyone who does not know what we're talking about,
yes,
for Housewives of New York City, Bravo.
Okay,
what do you mean? Matt, your husband would know what we're talking about.
That's why Miami is so fun to watch. Just the real estate alone. You're like,
okay, you know what? I have something tragic to tell you.
What?
I haven't been watching.
Why?
I'm gonna start from when they like rebooted it. Like 3 seasons ago?
Yeah.
Because like I know shit's going down.
Oh my gosh, that's
divorces.
There's some good real estate lessons from what's happening on that show. There's a lot of.
All right, I'm gonna reboot that one because like I watched it before it got canceled. Then they brought it back like 3 years ago or something, or 3 seasons ago or something.
So here's the fun fact. You know that lady who lived on Star Island and like welcomes Lisa Hochstein to the fold?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Next door to her was Diddy's house that just got raided. So fun fact.
Diddy? They're dirty.
Literally next door.
Literally next door. And this is why she's TikTok, famous. And she's just like calling out celebs. It's the best. So interesting. Okay. Anyway, should we just be a Bravo podcast? I kind of want to be. I kind of want to be.
Maybe like a Bravo real estate. I mean, that's what I try to like the TikToks. And then people were like, you can't talk about their personal information online. And I'm about to go back and clip from the reunion when they talk about Lala's. I got the most hate for calling out Lala's house and showing pictures of it, which was a really impressive feat to find. Because she hit it well.
She did. But the house in the valley or the one that she just bought?
The one she just bought
in the valley.
Yeah. But
do you think she's going to go in the valley? Have you been watching the valley?
Totally. Why would she not? It makes more sense.
I agree. Do we think VPR is over?
It needs to be.
Cam has no idea what we're talking about, especially with they using it. It's sad. It's tragic.
Well, I think they need to do.
It's very upsetting.
I don't actually think Ariana and Katie can lead a show. I don't think they're but I think they should do a spinoff with the sandwich shop and follow a new group of 20-somethings that work at a sandwich shop in LA.
I was like, they're not 20 anymore. Yeah, the people working
in West Hollywood, and then like they can be like the mama bears or the matriarchs of this, like Lisa was. They could transition into that role.
Yeah. I mean, they did it with Southern Hospitality.
Yeah, I don't know how interesting sandwich shop workers would be in West Hollywood, but you never know. It's WeHo.
It's WeHo. You never know. And do you watch Southern Hospitality?
No.
Yeah, I don't either. It looks like it. I had to draw the line. Although, love me some Southern Charm.
I never went on that one either.
What?
I like that one.
only started watching Summer House because it was on TikTok.
You like that one?
Or yeah, I used to watch it.
Yeah, yeah.
Cute.
Are you watching Summer House?
Yeah, only because I wanted to figure out who these Carl and Lindsay people were that everyone was talking about.
Oh,
on TikTok.
girl. Oh, my God. I am like diehard for Summer House. I love it. Paige DeSorbo, love her so much. Okay.
She's my fave.
She's my fave. I know. And they have the Giggly Squad podcast. I
So
just
cute.
totally butchered that. But yeah, I know. They're the best.
That is another one though that I'm like, I understand it's New York, but I find it so fascinating that these people have been on TV for as long as they've been on TV and they haven't like bought real estate.
There was people were talking about this on podcasts recently with even the Vanderpump Rules cast, because they're all saying they're broke, Tom's broke, whatever. They're making really good money now. I mean, how many had over 1 million viewers with last year's Scandal and everything else like that, and they're like, what happened? Only a few of them have bought houses or are saying that they're not broke. Anyway, I don't
The
know.
wildest thing on that is Sheena, because I got really into this, but Sheena was like the first one to buy a house. She bought a house in 2017. She bought the vacation property.
Yes, in Palm Springs.
And that honestly probably sustains itself because she bought it for like 600.
Yeah.
And it's like she refied
And then Lala bought right next door to
for
her.
$1 million. Actually, $1.2 million. She bought for double the amount.
Ooh,
but
dang.
because Sheena bought in like 2017.
Oh wow, I didn't know she bought
Like
that
she
long ago.
locked capital.
See, this has to do with real estate.
Yeah.
We're
I'm
real estate / Bravo Lover podcast.
Well, on that note,
yeah.
I would say if you are finding like pops of money, it's like these people, I think eventually, unfortunately, won't have long-term
Like
money coming
yeah,
through because they're not like,
some of them are not able. They're not able to have to see where they can spin off and basically make it last and go into different avenues.
Yeah.
To keep the money flowing in, but some of them can. Some of them will.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think what's his name will sell his like drink company for probably some decent cash.
Loverboy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope
They're
so.
a DJ.
Yeah,
was at
it's on Vanderpump Rules. James Kennedy. Yeah.
He was at Stagecoach.
He was. In
Yes,
Diplo's
I did see
tent.
that. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know.
Good for him.
I know. He bought a
That's
house.
huge.
It's great.
In the valley,
bought a
under the
house?
flight path, they wanted to really just highlight.
Highlight
Bravo producers are shady. Just every time they'd show his house, they'd show a plane flying over in Burbank, and I'm like, damn, you guys are f***ed up. Like, let the guy live. He bought a house.
But also, like, the people that got hated when I was like posting these rules were like, give them some privacy. I'm like, I'm so sorry. They literally
They're
are
on
telling
reality
you where
TV.
James' house is by telling you there's only so many. You could
Do we think that on a lot of those that they show a different house than what they're actually living in?
no, most
They
of them
did.
They don't.
Some housewives they did.
I'm fairly certain that Lisa Barlow's house is different. Because if you really, because I've like really paid attention to this, you never see a view outside her window. Like while you're inside, it's almost like they've blocked off the windows. You never see
you
a
can't
view,
see where
a tree.
I gotta tell you, if I was gonna sign up for something like that, I think I would do the same thing.
Oh, I would not be like these ones that live in literal glass houses that are
Angie
like
K.
Angie.
I know.
She does. She built that house. I pulled that permit.
I love you so much. Okay, I think
was supposed to be a whole series.
I think most people have stopped listening by this point, so maybe let's get them back. Maybe not. I hope not. I hope not. When you walked in, I was like, "What's on your hand? What's on your hand?"
It's literally a ring on my finger.
What?
Oh, sorry.
The other pinky and ring finger.
Oh, the paint.
The paint.
Yeah.
I thought I was like, "Oh, you have
paint in
something
my
in your
hair.
hand," and painted my hair.
Fine.
What were you doing yesterday
Well, I
and
was
today?
painting this morning. So we closed on a place. So it was supposed to close Friday. This is a message to all the vendors out there. Include us on all emails because not knowing what the cutoff time for a wire was delayed us till yesterday when someone could have maybe told everybody that the cutoff was
Hey,
a
heads
certain
up.
time.
Yeah, and we're not closing. Like, don't be delivering things.
Right. But maybe like include everyone and not just the buyer on that email.
Your buyer didn't tell you?
Well,
Or are you the
I don't
listing?
think I was the buyer's agent. I really don't think it was in the email.
Like, nothing was there. Yeah, it happens. Anyway. So you
Anyway,
were-
so I was there yesterday. We were first in line. So normally it closes like right before noon if you're
Right.
first in.
Right.
And then the second closing's in like at like 4 or something.
Yeah.
The second wave. So we're first in and I had like scheduled stuff. I had scheduled like a man to come and like look at the countertops and like
And sometimes, and we tried not to do it the day because like things can happen, whatever,
it's supposed
day
to be
of.
Friday.
Right.
Actually, it
So
was supposed to be
then,
Thursday and then it was Friday and then it was Monday.
so fair. You gave yourself some buffer to be there Monday,
yeah.
but no.
Also, in all fairness, I ordered these vanities and they said it could be 7 to 10 days. I'm like, oh, great. And then it was like 4, which normally fantastic. But in this case, I was like, man.
You're just refresh it. Oh, no, you were sitting out front.
So they get delivered. So first off, he comes he was gonna come earlier, and I was like, can you just like come a little later by chance? He's like, okay, I'll come at the end of my route. So it's like 11, and I'm there, and this place is like on a hill. So delivery truck, there's no loading dock. So the delivery truck hill and very heavy vanities that need to come out. And at one point I thought
go careening down the hill.
And at one point I was like, this is gonna fall off the truck, and I'm gonna have to reorder.
This is not going to be good.
And so my dad like gives me a dolly. He's like, just use this. Just you may need this dolly today. I'm like, okay. So
Thanks, Dad.
Thanks. I have dolly. And
Love
some
you, Dad.
straps. A dolly with like uninflated.
Wait, was he expecting you to just like strap this vanity, a 60-inch vanity, to a dolly and just wheel that shit inside by yourself?
He was like, get some help. And I was like, okay, I will. But I hate asking for help. So anyway, so the man there, so there's two. So he's at the bottom of the hill, and I have to get one, and he like helps me push one up the hill up towards like the front of the building.
Okay.
Which at that point you need to roll it into the elevator up one story and then over.
Okay.
No issue. And that was the smaller one. And so then the bigger one, he just like, well, I can't. And he's like, well, let me just put it inside the parking gate. So that was good. So at least it was shut. It was out. It was out of the way.
Right.
And so then I'm going to stand by like the other one, and I'm like, it's like 11:25, and I'm like, refresh, just like waiting for the confirmation to come through, because I don't want to go and like in the lockbox we have it, stuff gets kicked back, and I'm just like praying that it works.
Yeah.
And 11:45 it like ticks through, and so I was like, yes. So I like go and I'm like, hey, agent.
Sitting on the curb in her skirt, just like refreshing on her laptop. And she's got two vanities sitting on either side of her. I'm picturing that. I can see all
one
of
was
this.
like in the gate, and then there was one here. So then I like call my sister an Uber, and I was like, hey, I need help getting this one.
Finally.
My sister, who's like all of 100 pounds, and I'm like,
wait, didn't she just celebrate her 21st birthday?
Yes,
I totally saw this on Instagram. Okay.
Yeah.
So you call her.
I call her, and I was like, I just need
force
a
her
second
into
set
an
of hands.
Uber to get her downtown to help you wherever you were.
We were close to our house, but yeah, it was fine. So we like roll it in, get the one in, and then the other one, I'm like, I cannot deal with this. Someone eventually came and helped us get that.
And then this morning, were you there painting?
I was there again today painting. Yeah. So
Are you the buyer?
I was kinda.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
Why are you ordering vanities?
Okay.
Well,
okay.
yeah. My dad and I bought this.
Okay.
So okay, I have a question for you guys.
Wait a minute.
What?
You and your dad buy it, and your dad hands you a dolly, and he's like, you got this.
Bless my father's
kid.
heart. He's been in the business a long time, and he's now in his 70s.
Okay, fair. I like that he at least gave you a dolly, and then he's like, and call your sister if you need help.
Well, no. He was like, do you have anyone? I'm like, yeah, of course I do. I hadn't thought that through.
He's going to listen to this and be like, you didn't have anybody.
It's fine. He probably knows that.
Which is why he gave you a dolly and straps and was like,
Like, here you
you're
go.
strong, girl. I believe in you. You got this.
Figure it out.
So okay, a question for you guys.
Yes.
So yesterday, so we leave, like I was like hitting a wall. So we go to get a margarita, get some chips and salsa. I have to run back to my house and get like pictures and everything to come back to like continue painting and starting to install stuff. And the seller just like let himself in and like left the keys inside, and then text the listing agent and was like, hey, well, I left the keys inside. It looks like they've already started doing stuff. Like,
Yeah, because we closed and you don't own it anymore, sir.
I know.
No.
And I'm a little,
You're going to change
change
those
the
locks.
locks.
yeah,
Yeah.
100%. But I'm like, why is a listing agent advising his client after he no longer owns something to go in and like just
Do you know
drop
the listing
keys off
agent?
casually? And he was lovely to work with during the whole transaction. I just thought it was a very strange thing
Unless
to
the
advise.
seller didn't tell.
Yeah, I was gonna say
unless
maybe
he
he
probably
did.
went rogue.
I don't think so, because he said I'll have the seller bring by the keys, and I'm thinking, oh, like I'll just meet him downstairs, not he'll just go let himself in.
Because you weren't there. So
I was there for like
it looks like they've already started. Yeah, because they own it now.
right.
And
was
by
like,
the way,
you can check the lockbox time. Like I entered that lockbox after we closed. Like it's no longer your seller's.
Yeah, change
I'm
those
like,
locks.
How uncomfortable.
you're going to walk
I'm
in one
glad
day and
you-
he's going to be like, hey, I like this paint color. You're going to be like, what are you doing here?
Literally.
How'd you get those vanities in here?
A dolly and straps on my back.
And he's like, I didn't. There was not a. I'm like, oh my gosh.
This is the joy. This is the joy.
Thank God you weren't there.
Yeah.
I just would be so scared.
Somebody
open
I had
the
moved
door?
all of my stuff in, and I'm just like casually like walking around in my underwear, and someone
Yeah.
just like opens the door, and he's like, oh sorry, my agent
A week
said I could
later.
just like come in.
A week later.
Right.
Are you going to move into
even
this
then.
place or are you going to rent it?
Maybe we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. Congrats.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, that's
you.
a big closing. That's
It's
great.
very exciting.
That's very exciting.
Yeah. But but this is not uncommon for me though. I did have one last.
I thought it was from the
ago?
garlic knot that you were that you did not
that sounds so
save
good.
Manny.
I'm sorry, it was only one.
She sends us a text.
It was a garlic croissant stuffed
What?
with jalapenos. It's right there.
Did you go to Do Mama?
Yeah, that one.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah.
That place is cool.
It's so cute, right?
Yeah.
It's super cool.
Lots of
yeah.
fun
Like, I have
specials.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. Right, right here next to County, kind of. Down the way.
Two doors down from Just Burgers.
Okay.
Yes, but this is not uncommon for me. Like I had one listing this earlier this year, and property was great. It was like on a half acre, was like a good sized house with a little granny flat.
Where?
And
What part
it was
of
in
town?
Poway, and it was like lost on me what this property wasn't selling. And I had been at every
Got one of those right now.
I had been at every open house, and the biggest feedback I was getting was, and it's Poway. This would not be a problem if we were in like North Park. I would even say La Jolla, parts of the way. North Park, South Park, whatever, where properties are weird. It didn't have a real primary, and it was like freaking people out. And then it had this like one room that had like,
Yeah, I can see how Poway that would be.
Yeah, because there's so much
problem.
space probably.
Yeah.
And it's
well,
like,
and I think
just used
people
to
don't
like-
like cookie cutter.
They do. They're used to like
Yeah.
all of the developments that were out there years
Right.
ago, and like primary master, all the retreats and everything. Yeah.
And so this room had a room. This place had a room, so it didn't have a formal like primary, but it had this
The main
room-
house?
Yeah, because it was like the sellers had lived there for 30 years and really customized it to themselves, which is what you should do when you own a house. Not the best for resale value, but it is that what it is. And it had this like kitchenette thing, so I had like this sink and this like microwave and this mini fridge, and that freaked people out. So I told my seller, and I was like, "All right, we've been on the market now for like 2 months," and I was like,
We need
I
a proper
think
kitchen.
we had a real kitchen, had a beautiful
Where
kitchen.
was that? Where was
this was
that?
in like a room. So I was like,
Oh my
we
God,
had
that could have been such a cute coffee bar or a little bar in a primary if they just like make it the master.
So we ripped that out, made the master, and literally got an offer 3 days later.
Yeah.
wow.
No buyers, they
can't
struggle.
see.
They struggle. They can't see like, yeah.
So in that, I was there. I was committed to this. I was with my seller for like 9 hours, and we were DIYing this wall. We were taking everything out. I
That's
have like
impressive.
a friend who's like, "Oh, I'll take the little kitchenette and all this stuff." She comes by that night, picks everything up, so it's gone.
Amazing.
Like we're running to Home Depot. I'm like throwing the stuff in the back of my SUV, like drywall's wedged in there, and it is like finally 10 o'clock, and it's like, it was not the best. But it worked well. Moved the furniture and made this primary. Put a chair in front of it, and literally
This wall
reception
might come
difference.
falling down on you, but like she's up. That's
Okay.
all that matters.
It's actually the best part about it was, in terms of who bought it, is that we ended up finding some like severe water damage behind this wall. Oh. And so in doing that, we have all new drywall. So then
yeah,
when
you
we
were
went
able
into it,
to
it was like,
remedy it.
right. It was
Yeah.
like a good faith of like, we know that there is no water.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
This is
nice.
new drywall.
Yeah, that's good. Sometimes when you open up that can of worms, Anyway.
Yeah.
That's hysterical. Okay. This is just be a tangent episode and I love it so much.
It's like
I
my
feel
life.
I'm fine with that. I'm totally fine with that. Okay, but you deal with a lot of tenants.
Yeah. Well, I do a lot of tenant occupied property. Well, I started in multifamily, so that is why.
Is that all you did?
For like 4 years. For like 4 years.
And your dad has been in the business.
Yeah, my dad's been a multifamily broker in San Diego for like 40 something years.
Wow. Okay.
And
So you
so-
have a lot of experience with
That.
tenant occupied properties. Any fun stories that you can
Oh my
think of?
gosh.
So many.
So, well, it's so different. So I would like to preface and say there's kind of like a balancing act you have to do with it, I think.
There is.
And if
for
I
sure.
were to advise someone, I would always say you need to vacate this building, and like you start with someone early in the process. Like you don't need to sell tomorrow. Great. We need to, especially with like a duplex or a triplex or a fourplex, because the likelihood of it being bought by an owner occupier is higher. But some sellers are like very afraid. They're like, well, then I won't have any income. And I'm
Right.
like, okay, I understand that. And then you get into escrow, and the one tenant is like, I had one where they left. They knew the inspection was happening, so they left their 2 dogs that were like vicious big dogs, left their 2 dogs out in the yard, so you literally could not access the door. And so the inspector is there, and the inspector was like a short man syndromed man, and
a short king.
no, he was not a king.
Oh,
That was rude.
I don't actually know what that
And
means.
it was like he was like, well, I don't see why you can't just get in there. I'm like, sir, you're welcome to
go ahead.
Yeah, you go.
You're welcome to go.
See those rabid dogs? Like, please. You want to breeze past that?
I was like, I
Go
don't want
for
my
it.
seller to get sued because you get bit by a German Shepherd and a Rottweiler in their
scary.
backyard. Like, no. And this tenant kept doing this. They wouldn't allow access.
They were doing it on purpose.
yes.
A lot of them do.
They
Some,
always
you
do.
get some amazing tenants, and then you
yes.
get some that are just like, here you go. Like, there's no way you're going to ever get in. You're not going to access anything. Like, getting so many spam calls today.
I've had so many already today. I got like 3.
I have like 6 missed. Like, that's insane. Anyway.
Yeah.
So what did you do? What did he do? Did he want to like
well,
hop the fence and like karate chop the dogs?
So that escrow fell through, and then the new buyer comes through with the same property, and we're like, hey, look, this is what happened. Like, we finally do get in days later. And we're like, here is the inspection report. Like, you're going to have to go off of this. We want to give you access, but this tenant is just not being accommodating. I'm so sorry.
When was their lease going to be up?
They were on month to month, and I told the seller to give them notice. I said, this is going to be a continual problem.
100%.
And so we tried, and then they're like trying to renegotiate. Oh no, we'll let her in. Da 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 da. And of course, finally so then it fell out of escrow the second time because the second buyer was like, we kind of want like $5,000 off.
If we're gonna have to deal with like
we're gonna have to. They wanted the place vacant, and then it couldn't get vacated. And they're like, well, we want a discount because they're obviously challenging tenants,
right?
And the seller was
they're
like,
gonna inherit that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the seller was like irate. He was like, absolutely not. Like, they can go away. Blah blah blah. And
$5,000, just give it to them.
I know. I was like, that's all they wanted.
I know. I'm
asking
surprised.
for like
That was it.
20 or 30 or like, wow, that's amazing.
so I severed my relationship with that seller.
Oh,
Sometimes that feels good. You know.
This is the same seller. I was like literally on a date, and he's blowing up my phone at 8:00.
Oh,
Why
I
are
thought you were gonna say you were on a date with him. I was
Yeah.
like, wait, what happened? Tell me how this went awry.
I don't know. He's like, why aren't you texting me back? Can you call me back
At
What-
8?
and- At 8 a.m. Yes. I was like, so this is an unreasonable request.
Do you love when people are like, I got into the business because of all the freedom?
I do have to say,
Ma'am.
I like that we have cell phones because I like the location freedom that a lot of real estate gives you.
You know what?
That's-
That's what we should start saying
Yeah.
specifically
Location
is
freedom.
location freedom.
I
Because
like-
when you have a team or you have people that can help you, we really can work from anywhere.
Right.
But like the freedom in terms of like hours and how much we're working.
Right.
And like I'll be on my computer till 11 o'clock at night.
And I am okay with that because I'm like, oh, great. I have my phone next to me. Like, I can take a phone call. So it
Yes.
creates,
Yes.
I think, ease. Like, I'm on vacation with my family. They're like, do you have to work? And I'm like, phone is here. Like, it's
Yeah.
on.
Yeah,
Like,
of course.
I'm going to take a phone call if it comes through.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but I don't mind that because I like the location freedom, and I like the ability to like go to the zoo with my nephew for an hour in the middle of the day, or like,
I love that. Yeah,
that makes sense.
That's true. But like any other type of freedom, no.
no,
yeah, it's around the clock.
I really think it's funny that they think a robot can replace us.
Good luck. Let me know when that happens. You know what I mean?
Okay, so that same particular seller had a house. So there was one that was tenant occupied, then one that was vacant, and
You're like, I'll work with the vacant one.
I have like
Not the rabid
mentally-
dogs, thanks.
Mentally, I have a new. I will not work with a property that's self-managed, like by a seller, unless I'm going to charge more for a fee because you end up doing a lot more, and you end up serving in a manager role that. I'm fine with doing the transactional items of it, but like giving notices or like when you have
we
a
also
property,
have to be really careful with that because that puts us in a, for people who don't understand, that puts us in a very legally challenging situation. Like I'm even careful on even potentially helping a client find a rental. Like I will, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like when if they're like, hey, can you just like find a renter for this? I'm like, you really need to have somebody.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Because it's just not what we do. You know, I mean, there is,
especially in California.
that's what I was just going to say. California is a completely different animal than other states. And we're just so tenant heavy. What's the word I'm looking for? Like tenant focused, like they have so many more rights. Yeah. So yeah, I've got 2 right now that I'm trying to get out, but one of them, a family friend of mine, needs to sell 2 units in El Cortez, actually. So if you have anyone that we need to talk about that. But one of them just moved in April, and it's urgent, which we're just going to wait until January to put them on. But you could tell I was like, okay, treat this one with kid gloves. This is going to be a challenge, because even, during COVID, we had the moratorium. You couldn't even get people out. It took me a year and a half to get a seller out of a $5 million or a tenant out of a $5 million listing, and they quit paying. Yeah. Because they had a hardship. Behind the Lockbox is sponsored by Property Showcase Group. Property Showcase Group has a team of creatives, directors, producers, editors, marketing specialists, and designers that work in tandem to tell and share stories of the built environment. Whether you're looking for full-service production or simply just need content creation, Property Showcase Group can help take your business to the next level. To learn more or to contact Property Showcase Group to schedule a consultation, you can find them at propertyshowcasegroup.com. That's spelled PROPERTYSHOW CASEGROUP.com. PropertyShowcaseGroup.com. Yeah.
Well, we had 8 units near downtown, and when we bought it, it was so gross. It was inhabitable.
Yeah.
And they still would not move out. And we had to get like the city involved, and they were like, oh, we're not going to do anything. And he's like, we don't own like billions of units. Like we literally only own these 8.
Yeah.
Like you need to help us out. And my husband like fought. And finally they came out to look at it, and they're like, oh yeah, these are very inhabitable.
You're like, yeah, they need to be condemned.
they
like I'm
need to get
trying to
out.
tear these down to redo them. Yeah.
And
Just
the
like
people
make them
would not-
better. I do have to say that is the one legit loophole. It's not really a loophole. It's a wrong word to use. But if you have something that needs, like you need to go pull a permit for it, then that's one of the reasons you can vacate the space.
We were doing that though.
Yeah.
I forget all the.
The tenant can decide just not to leave and be a douchebag.
Yes, that's what
Right,
they were like all
right,
doing.
right.
So we had to do like cash for keys and all this
It's tough.
stuff.
It's
Yeah.
tough. I know. Yeah. Her husband does a ton of like flips with units and
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was not fun.
No. And then he's like, hey, Steph, you want to sell these? I'm like, oh, how many tenants are in place? Like, what are we looking at here?
Right.
You know? Yeah.
Well, like traditional.
Even when we
or at
sold
market.
the house and the one in PB with the
Oh yeah, the 3 unit.
yeah, like
That was more our partner was.
yeah, well, okay. Anyway. Yeah, that was definitely not Matt, but like I digress. Anyway. Such a shit show. Such is real estate and life.
I know.
Do you
okay, so this other one I have to tell us.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Because I was gonna
so-
say let's play a game and then that'll insight, but tell me the story first.
Okay, so we were sitting, so this property, same seller, we get like it's been issued out for, it's out for recording at like 11:45 or whatever.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh yes. And I get this like phone call from a gardener I had used on the property who had like cleaned up the outside like right before we put it on the market.
Okay.
And he was like, hey, this is Tiffany. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, I stopped by the house because I was looking for your number on the sign to give you a ring. The door is open. And I was like, and he's like, well, I wandered up, and he's like, someone definitely like pried the door open. I was like, oh, cool.
I can see crowbar marks on the door frame. Wait, so
We're in this middle period where it's like you can't recall, like it's out. Yeah.
wait. So okay, sorry, back up. So
Yeah.
were there any tenants living in it was vacant.
It's been
And
sitting
you're the
vacant.
sellers.
We're the sellers.
Okay.
And I purposely put a sign further back on the property. It was not in one of the best neighborhoods of San Diego.
Okay,
And I
okay.
purposely put a sign like a little further back where like it wasn't like sticking out for everyone to see. But I was I'm thankful no one that squatted into it prior. But
You're like, can you call me tomorrow?
right.
When it's not ours.
Right.
I'm gonna act like I didn't take this phone call and hang up.
Seriously. And so I'm like, well, shoot, now I know about this.
Right. No,
so
yeah.
I like call my dad, and he's like, this is rated. Well, how about? He's like, I'll meet you there. I'm like, okay. So
Thanks, Dad, with a dolly and
Totally.
straps.
Well, he has like I don't know, for what, think about it like as drill. He comes
Yeah.
over, and like it is seriously just like the door's been busted. It can't lock. One of the other ones can. And so we're like going around the outside of the property, and we like noticed that I think they fleed.
Like
Knowing you were coming.
So it was someone.
or
I think
the landscaper might have scared him off.
maybe.
You know what I mean? Like when
Yeah.
he got up there and was like, hello? Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
And so we like
So there's
secure
like
everything.
remnants of stuff.
There was a little bit of stuff.
Okay.
There was like this weird vintage typewriter.
Well, oh my God, you guys like scared off a poet. He was just trying to find
Maybe.
a quiet place to like
Very cool.
do his
So
poetry.
right.
You're like, oh,
In
can I
one of
take finders keepers? Like
Right.
this shit's antique.
In what's like it's a briefcase, a suitcase.
Oh my God, you literally scared off a poet. How dare you?
Yeah, well, he
How
crowed
dare
in,
you.
so.
He broke it.
Well, and like there was like hand marks on the window. They tried the window first, but there was
Okay.
like a we had the bar in the window. Anyway, or the rod thing.
so
So
sad they left the typewriter.
so we as my dad comes over and we hello. We like
there you
sit
go.
there.
Max is giving me the signal, and I was like, she doesn't need to drink, Max, and he's like, or she does. Anyway, so you find the typewriter, and you find
Oh my God. So we sat there for 3 hours waiting for it to record because we couldn't lock it up. We could not get a handyman.
I feel like all you do is sit at properties and just refresh your
yes,
laptop.
pretty much.
And like,
and so like we couldn't get a handyman out there. There's all the furniture been taken out, so there's nowhere to sit inside.
yeah.
And so we finally get a handyman out there at like 4.
Oh my God.
And get like confirmation recording at like 4:30. And so the handyman was like, I can secure this, but I can't fully fix this until tomorrow. Like, I don't have the right stuff. Cause we had like, we had to call my friends in property management and like, hey, can you put like a dispatch out to your handyman? And they're like, yeah, of course.
That was good.
Just to get someone out there quickly. because you
To
would
at least secure the door or board it up or do something.
right.
Yeah.
And so I told the buyer's agent, and I was like, hey, look, this is so weird. This happened like in the interim,
of
Yeah.
recording, like while we're waiting for the city to literally record it.
literally. And I was like, we will come and fix it tomorrow, or like I will give you like $200 cash. We'll call it a day, sign in a thing, and your buyer can take possession and just come through the side door so they can fix it. And he's like, we'll take 300. That's really what I was gonna give him. He's like, let me lowball myself.
But good girl.
Yeah,
and then you're like, okay, great, fine.
I went and got cash, gave him the cash, and I was like, sayonara.
Amazing. Not my problem anymore. It happens though. It happens a lot.
It's just
you know?
crazy of all days.
Yeah.
Like that's when they call to.
I'm like, how would a robot handle that?
Oh, well, we've had
What would a robot do? Would the robot come over there in his little Cybertruck and get out and be like,
First of all, have you
entered.
seen the robots that deliver food like riding down the street? I'm like, you were going so slow. Like,
No, I have. You seen that?
Yeah.
Here?
Yeah.
have you not pick them up and just
Just like,
Yeah.
just like
Give me
kick
that
it over
food.
and it's like, and it's like wheels are spinning
Oh,
and it's
that's
like
for
laying
sure
on
gonna
its side.
happen.
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, well, good luck to everyone out there. You know, we're needed. Okay.
right. All these separations. Like hang drywall with you. Who's gonna wait for contract?
Who's going to dolly up that 60-inch vanity and stick it in your apartment? Tiffany will.
Exactly.
That's insane. Okay, do you want to play a game?
Sure.
Because it'll incite some stories for you. Yeah, look at her trying to. I hope this is like.
Okay, what's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you in front of a client?
Oh no, I don't know. That's a tough one.
You can go back to it.
I just don't get embarrassed that easily, I think.
I mean, I'm always so self-deprecating that I just like make fun of myself, and then I'm like,
Yeah.
moving on. You know what I mean? Earlier, a couple weeks ago, I said like. Like if a client's following you, like one time this person, like I cut them off on accident and they like laid on their horn and like flipped me off, and my clients were behind me and I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't see. Like there was like a bush and it was a whole thing, and my client was like, that guy was an asshole, they almost hit you, and I was like, I know. My God. I was
Poor
like, I'm
you.
such like a safe driver.
Remember when I was following you downtown? I was driving so slow.
Oh my God. She's
I was
driving her husband's truck.
and it was
First of
really
all,
low on gas. I
She
was
had no
scared.
business driving this truck, first of all. Second of all, I see her in the rearview mirror. I'm like about to exit. Like we're just passing Sassafras, and she is like back at the Old Town exit.
I didn't
basically,
know you
doing
were, like
50 miles an hour. And I'm like, first of all, ma'am, the speed limit is 65. And if you're me, it's 80.
I had it in my phone. I wasn't following you.
Oh, I was like, Cam? And she's like, hi. I'm like sitting at the gate waiting for her. I'm like, where are you? Because I had to like let her into Union. And she like pulled his big ass truck into the garage. I'm like, oh my God.
I popped a wheel on one of those trucks, so he won't let me drive his trucks anymore. So that won't be happening.
Well, that's probably good. Matt, if you're listening, smart move.
Okay, what's your biggest pet peeve?
Oh man, this whole job. No, just kidding. That's a lie.
Depends on the day.
I think it's like the lack of communication and people like not understanding certain things. Like I think it's
hard.
There's a element of detail and there's an element of like understanding. Okay, this is simple one. People not knowing the contract drives me nuts.
Somebody said this recently. Yeah.
And it's like if you don't know what paragraph it is and you're like, hey, can you remind me what paragraph that is?
Sure.
Okay, fine. That's no issue because I've done that too because I'm trying to get clarification. I'm like,
What
do
are
we
you
have
talking
the right
about
to do this?
specifically?
Like, can you name that paragraph?
Right. Or like in a counteroffer, it'll be like 3B null and void. And I'm like, I got to go look at what 3B is. Like off
Yeah.
the top of my head, I don't know. You know what
Well,
I mean?
that's
That's
fine.
different. But like when they literally, you're like, that's not allowed and per the contract. Yeah.
I have gotten in like somewhat like disputes with people because they're like, well, we didn't know that. And I'm like, well, did you not read the disclosures that
didn't.
you signed?
They
Like,
didn't. They didn't.
I don't see, this is not my problem.
No, it's wild. And even what really works in our favor sometimes is when I'm like, they're like, wait a minute, you wanted this or wanted that? I'm like, well, yeah, it was in the counter. And they're like, I missed it. I'm like,
not my problem.
They missed it in the counter.
yeah, this happened recently. And I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
good for me. And
Yeah.
I had like 17 or 20 days of due diligence because we got accepted as a backup offer. I love this agent, by the way. I love him so much. But he was like, you had said you were going to try to get 10. I was like, I did try to get 10, but the trustee was like, no, I want 17.
Yeah.
So I put that in there and he's like, I missed it. And I was like, I'm sorry, but we're not removing until then. You know, like it is what it is. Like he's really great, but it happens where they don't. They're going so quickly.
That's harder
and they
when
don't
it's a
read.
backup because I feel like you just like
He did,
you know,
and he was
open
like,
it and you
you
forget
know,
what
and
else
I was
was
like,
on
sorry, he's like, you bamboozled me. I was like, not bad, but you know, like it happens, and like, I mean, we freak out. She does all of our paperwork on our team, and so like, I'll be looking at something, or I'll be like, it's rare that we miss something, especially you. But if I'm like, oh my God, like, but people also don't know the contract or what it means
they
or
don't.
what
Different when you
things in
miss
the contract
something.
mean. It's different missing something. That's a human error, mistake. It happens all the
But
time.
they don't know what's in it.
Yeah.
And then they're like, what
how
does
are
that
you
mean? I'm
doing
like,
this all the
what do you
time?
mean? What do
Yeah.
I mean? Like, what? I know.
I had one.
Again, job security.
Totally. I had one where the buyer's agent, I was representing the listing agent. And this was a duplex. So I had them write it on a RIPA. Specifically because the RIPA protects kind of all parties better.
Sure.
It gives you more disclosures. Like you want to be on a RIPA.
Right.
But it has a box that says what units to be delivered vacant. There is a box on the RIPA and you check it and you say how many units to be delivered vacant. So they had left that blank and I had said one will be delivered vacant. So I put that in the counter. We provide the lease. They come back the day we're supposed to close and say, we want you to give notice to the tenants. We weren't aware that this tenant stayed. And I was like,
Ma'am?
literally, here's my receipts for reports. And I called my TC and I was like, do we have this? And she forwards it over. She's like, oh yeah, like here's the RFR.
That happens to us all the time because I'm like, there's
Here's
no
the
way I
lease.
would have missed that. You know what I mean? Like, am I crazy? Like, and then you're like, nope, sure enough.
I
here
had
it
to like
is.
loop in my broker. I'm like, this is wild. Like, did you ever agree to that? And I'm like, no. And we can't. The lease is
the tenants are in a lease. They cannot leave
for
right.
another 11 months.
Yeah.
The buyer's agent. So then we close and I'm like, okay, I think we're in the clear. And then I get a text from the tenant like 30 days later.
They're
She
trying
like
to
2 weeks
evict
later. Yeah.
She what?
They're trying to evict
They're
them.
trying to evict the tenant. And the tenant goes, hey, were they given a copy of the lease? And I was like, I just screenshotted the first page where they had signed. And like, this is a copy of it. They're like, do you have information? And I was like, here's what Google tells me their information is. I don't actually have their email or the phone number. But, and he was like super strange. The agent came and told him he represented the new buyer and that the lease terminates because the lease is with an individual seller and it doesn't stay with the property.
Sir.
And that's what he told his clients.
No.
Oh, so he was trying to
Yes.
save his own butt.
So his buyers believed
Or
that the
no,
lease
or he stupidly thought that.
and
FYI,
told his clients that.
that does not, a lease stays with the property. It does not
Right.
just terminate when a sale happens on the property.
Right. And
Even
so-
if they're month to month, like they have to be served notice, people. What?
Isn't that wild? Had no idea.
It's the best. Again, job security. Hello.
Wow. Okay.
I'm interested in this next one.
If you could be anything other than a real estate agent, what would you be and why?
Oh man. I would probably stay in real estate in some side. I'd probably like want to be like a HGTV star.
Love that for you. Can we make this happen?
Sure.
And then can I come on your show?
Of course. Yes. Like
It'll just be us pushing vanities uphill.
right, exactly. Just that would be great content. Just staying outside, refreshing.
Refresh.
yeah.
Talking about Bravo while we're sitting there waiting for a property to turn over. Yeah.
My sister was at my house last week speaking of Bravo and I was like catching up with the latest VPR, the finale or whatever. And she's watching this and she's like, my sister's like, this is my other sister who's like 27 and just really does not
Are you
watch
the
reality
oldest?
TV. Yeah. And she's like, what do these people do? Like, do you see this
is
show that
it.
you're watching? Like this is their job. And she was like, and I was like, they make like 30 grand an episode. Like they're fine.
I think they're up way
think-
higher than
yeah.
that now, like 100 grand an episode. Or
Whatever.
Really?
And I
Wow.
was like, they make like, and I was like, honey, you don't make that. Like they're doing fine. And she's like, well, why don't you do that? And I was like,
first of all,
You're like, I'm trying.
Right. I'm like-
Trying. Have you not seen my TikTok? Like, I'm trying.
that doesn't
I will do it with you.
I'm so glad, honey, that you think they're just like, here you go. Here is a $80,000 paycheck per episode. We don't know who you are, but good luck.
Well, good luck. You look like you make excellent content. Let's just try. Let's just try.
I would think, what? I would love that. Well, that is,
Yeah. Okay, if you get an
So
offer,
funny.
you bring me with you.
oh, let's do it.
You know who else we're bringing?
Yeah, what?
Alana.
Oh, great reality TV.
Oh, that would
Great
be
reality TV.
real good.
Great. By the way,
I would watch that.
her episode just aired for everybody, and I know that they loved it. So you guys understand what I'm saying. So anyway,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
I don't know if HGTV is our
No.
medium,
That's
though.
like that'd be like too homely. I don't have a husband. They don't
Same.
cast single people on HGTV.
same. They're gonna be like,
So you guys are on Bravo.
You get, yeah.
Oh no, there's the sisters. I think they were single.
Oh, the ones up in like
Washington
the
sisters?
yeah.
Yeah.
They're quirky. They're that's okay.
What about those brothers your mom's obsessed with? Can't stand
Lori, she's listening to this.
The one married to Zoe Deschanel.
Yes,
Oh,
Cam
God.
thinks
They're
that they're gay.
For sure.
With each other.
Yes.
That's what I said. Yeah, I was just gonna say
That's the rumor.
It's a
Yeah.
I knew it.
My mom is
knew
going to be
it.
so upset. My mom is screaming in her car right now. Like, that is not true. By the way, they have a new show out, I think. And I was like, oh,
Yeah,
Mom,
what is
Cam's
it
gonna be
called?
so
Brother
excited.
Lovers?
Probably. Should be the name of the candles they sell.
They sell candles.
I don't know. I think they do. They have that whole line. It's
getting better and better.
somewhere.
They do? Oh,
Yeah.
it's
It's somewhere.
it's not Living Spaces.
Maybe
is
it might
it?
be Living
Probably.
Spaces.
Of course it
Oh,
is.
sad. You want me to go buy you a candle?
Absolutely not.
What do we think it's gonna smell like, Jonathan, or what's the other one's name?
Could care less.
I don't know.
The face?
Also,
I don't know.
I think it's also funny they live in Las Vegas.
I think that's where they were raised, right?
Oh, it is. I just
think
assume they
so.
like the tax benefits
What
and
is
the
Zoe
proximity to
see?
California.
What is that? Well, they smart.
I was like,
What does Zoe see? She's so cute.
I don't know. Maybe her first.
Oh, that little like
Zoe.
she's like spunky.
Yeah,
Actress.
She was on
No, I
New
know somebody.
Girl.
New Girl was so good.
She was an elf.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
On
On an elf.
Elf.
She was.
She was an elf and elf.
Well, no, she was
Right?
the girl that works at the
Yeah.
At the
That
yeah, but
falls in
she
love
like
with
dressed
the
up
elf.
as yeah.
Mary's welfare home.
Yeah.
Another wonderful.
Well, maybe that's why.
New Girl was so good though. Did you ever watch that show?
I did. And then her older sister was in Bones.
My brother is Schmidt.
Oh,
Like
we
real
all know
salty.
Schmidt.
Oh yeah, that's my brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Who's her older sister?
Um,
Like I would know. I don't even know.
something Deschanel. But
Yeah,
she was in
crap.
Bones with the guy that was in
Yes.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and that went on for like 7
Yeah.
seasons.
Yeah. We love TV, clearly. I think we're in the wrong business.
I think it's because I always like to say it's because I have lived alone for so long that like it
Same.
like keeps me company.
Everyone's like, how do you I'm like, it's my wind down time. Like
Right.
literally last night we were texting when I was like, I'm gonna wear this
Yeah.
Bravo merch and you better know what I mean because I'm not gonna let this go to waste on anyone else. And I was like, do you watch Bravo? And she's like, are you in my apartment right now? And I was like, she's like, I just finished. I'm like, I just finished Jersey too. I watched Jersey because my mom was here over the weekend, so I didn't watch it on Sunday. And so I was catching up. Oh my God.
Well, I think it's
Team Melissa or Team Teresa? If you're not immediate, Tiffany.
I don't know. I have
Go all the way.
Okay, go ahead. I wasn't sure your feelings on it. Louis seems insane.
Psycho. He's going to take all her money.
All her money.
And she's going to be back knocking on Joe Gorga's door.
Oh my gosh. And also, okay, did you see the Watch What Happens live episode with Gorga and Meghan McCain?
Yes.
Okay, so is that the same Bo Dietl that's investigating them?
Yes.
Oh my God.
She said that he was like a Fox News
Well, I
contributor,
thought
but
that
then
was,
he got fired.
Name.
No. Like it's the same private PI. I'm going to need you to get caught up.
You could just watch the last like 2 seasons because I didn't watch anything prior to it.
It's because I have kids and like I don't know when I'm gonna watch it. I guess when they go to bed.
There's a single.
But that's when I go to
things that
bed.
you do.
I
but
know,
she'll
so I
text
like
me and be
literally.
like,
I
all right,
would
love
love
you,
to
good
watch
night.
this.
And I'm like, it's 8:30. I'm just getting my Bravo started. What do you mean I love you, good night?
No, I would love to watch it.
Matt would watch it with you.
But then we also like I need to. Where do you even watch Bravo now? Is that like an
Peacock.
app? Oh, Peacock.
Peacock.
Okay. Oh, they have The Office too, right?
Yeah,
no
I
idea.
also have Law and Order and all of the Real Housewives. Yeah, it's actually Peacock's a good one.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
become like my favorite.
Do they have sports? Because that would get.
Yeah, they do.
Oh,
well,
okay.
it's any NBC related sport.
Okay.
So like anything that would be on an NBC network is on there.
I really love
I'll
this
get this.
episode of the podcast.
Yeah,
It's really unhinged.
I mean, it's fine.
Anyone out there, everyone's gonna be like, I've stopped listening because they were talking about Jersey housewives, and I don't care.
mean,
It's the
okay. Well,
best.
speaking of Gorga, and let's bring this back to real estate.
Yeah.
that house that she built. So to fill you in on this,
it's stunning.
the internet is unhinged even further than this episode, and she builds this house in like I actually think New Jersey's very beautiful. Like
It
all the
is.
trees and like your proximity to New York.
Yeah.
and it's like it's
Parts
price
of Jersey.
price per square foot. It's actually fairly affordable. You get like this 10,000 square foot house for like $3 million on like 2 acres. Sign me up.
right. Same.
Right. But she builds this house and it has this exterior remnants of like the McMansion where like it's like one steep, one steep, one steep, one steep. It is like bad.
I don't know what they were thinking initially.
It looks like someone sketched it on a piece of paper with like no measuring tools. And the architect
Melissa
was like,
probably did.
great, perfect. And then like put it into play and they're like,
Oh.
I really wanted those to be like even. And so someone drives by their house, like figures out where their house is, posted online and be like, this house is hideous. And like they got
I didn't know that's how that happened.
100%. And they got so much backlash of like
But
this.
now,
And so then they had to readdress and like rebalance the full front exterior.
the whole, yeah,
Like,
the whole,
it had like it was not balanced. There were different size windows and they literally had to
the whole elevation completely changed in the front.
after
Yeah.
it was done they had to redo roof lines.
Oh my
That's why it took so long. But
Unhinged.
now
it's very pretty.
it's beautiful. It's all black and white and it's like brick and it's square and it's modern.
Pool in the backyard.
It's beautiful. But it was so funny last night on that episode. Like they showed like Melissa's house, right? But then they show, by the way, those are their real houses because you can tell when Melissa's posting, like you can see that they're really there.
And Teresa's like faux castle.
I was like, the style, like it's just clear, like their taste. I love the way Melissa dresses. Like she can do no wrong in my book 9 times out of 10. Teresa, I can't.
My favorite.
She's a bully too. I don't like her.
She's such a bully.
Such a bully. She's so mean.
Like maybe you went to prison.
Honey.
My favorite house on that show is
I'm thriving right now.
Is Margaret's because of her style.
Oh my God. Marge. Who doesn't love Marge?
A lot of you, she's very like maximalist in her style, to give context.
And it's not me at all. I'm Melissa Gorga. I'm black and white.
Yeah.
Like it's like, and Marge is like animal print on this wall, rainbow on this wall. And you're just like, oh my God.
But it works.
It works.
And
it's also because of her. And her kitchen is beautiful.
Her kitchen is beautiful.
Like,
and the style of home is very like kind of 70s, 80s.
It's like a Tudor almost.
Yeah. So it's not like a new.
So then you go inside and you're like, wait, what's happening?
Yeah.
But she's redone it. Her husband's a contractor and it's taken years to redo it. She's like, I know. I want to be friends with them.
Yeah. Like we should move to New Jersey.
Okay, let's go. Because then we can afford a mansion out there. I mean, listen, my brother lives in Virginia. Like I am considering. Okay. With a T, like what Teresa would say. Considering. I'm considering.
And
moving.
I hear that in some of those states, you do a lot less work as a real estate agent.
Do you know every agent I know in like the DC, Virginia area is like, if you move out here, you will fucking kill it.
Yeah.
If you can survive the California market, I'm like,
and we have to know a contract. You get these other states where the attorney gets involved and then they deal with
I don't think Virginia's a attorney state, but
like New York is.
New York is. All the tri-state is. Yeah.
All those damn agents, that $1 million agents, literally all they do is market the property.
And
then they're like, here, attorney, take this lead and figure it out.
That would be so stressful because I just did a deal with an attorney involved and he was trying to blow up the deal every second. And it was so stressful. And I was like, and then eventually I got my client to take her power back and she did. And I'm so proud of her. But like she didn't even know the attorney. It was like through her trust and like it was wild. And they wanted this house so badly. And it was not a bad buy. Like we just closed on it. It was literally such a good house. Yeah. And it's a beautiful craftsman and it's just like everything they wanted. And I'm like, if this is what attorneys do, I do not want to be an attorney state. But I don't think so because here it just works so differently.
Yeah.
They're trying to keep the deal together, I assume, where this guy was awful. I felt so bad for my client, but she took her power back, man. And they listen to this podcast, so I'm proud of you. Anyway, all right.
Very sweet.
We got to go.
Well, thank you. Also, thank you for providing a chair tall enough for me to sit in.
I mean, that's why I thought of you.
I feel like I could sit at the head of the table and be like, all right.
The queen is here.
I'm like Donald Trump at the end of the table.
You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. I'll have chairs. Take that dolly upstairs.
Chairs like this in negotiations will like.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
I know. Some people love it. Some people hate it. It was like that chair was given to me and it just like works in the living room right now. So like I kept it, you know.
If you ever get rid of it, I want it.
I'll let you know.
What color was it before?
Oh, how did you know I painted it?
Because it would normally have been painted with a shinier paint, not this one.
No, it was actually distressed cream. And it's like boho chic is not my thing. You know what I mean? No. So I was like, paint this bitch white.
What?
I took it to a painter, a professional painter.
Bamboo styled. Why the heck would it be boho chic?
It was boho chic. It was not good.
Strange.
I know. It's a little too beachy for me, but it's a comfy chair.
Beachy. Yeah.
And I'm not, I live at the beach, but we're not going for that aesthetic, but it works right now for this. Like, you know what I mean?
This would be fun. Like a really vibrant, like coral, but with like a lacquer paint.
So like, as you can see.
Well, I know, but like
I'm all black and white.
Like a pop of something, like even like a green.
Maybe. I do green.
Yeah, like, that would be so pretty. But it needs like a lacquer paint. So it has like a shine to it. And then it would match your frame.
Okay, well, I'll be bringing it over to your house tomorrow because you clearly know how to paint things. And you'll be painting it for me, okay? Okay, great. Anyway, on that note, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
We love you so much. Thank you.
That was really fun.
Yes.
What do we do now?
Talk about Bravo. We're going to talk about Bravo. Oh. Just kidding. Okay. Bye, guys. We love you so much. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening. Behind the Lockbox is produced and edited by Property Showcase Group. If you like this podcast, please share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, or review this podcast. Thanks for your support. See you next week.